The Nation columnist Elie Mystal calls U.S. Constitution a piece of crap and promotes South African Constitution. Wow. This is, I mean, how many mainstream media entities are going to have this loony dude on their show? He's on MSNBC all the time. Now he's on the Breakfast Club spewing this idiocracy. I mean, it's like he wakes up in the morning and be like, how can I troll people today? What grift can I come up with today? What outrageous mess can I say today? And then he just says it. Like the South African Constitution. Are you for real? Racist South Africa? That's the Constitution you want to use over our U.S. Constitution that protects. But we are one of the most freest countries in the world. You want to really replace that? So we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna show some clips. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account, so follow me there as well. All right, so let's get into this news. Leftist author Elie Mystal of The Nation joined the Breakfast Club radio show this week, where he called the American Constitution a piece of crap and claimed the South African Constitution is superior. I can't read that without laughing because it's so outrageous. But let's play the clip. Here we go.
South Africa got over apartheid. Did they just go back to their Afrikaner racist constitution and be like, oh, we just need a couple of amendments. We just need a couple of changes here to make it work? No, they threw the whole thing out and started again, this time asking everybody. Wow. This time having a completely new delegation of all of the people of South Africa, not just the white folks, but
now the white folks are second-class citizens in South Africa. So how did that work out for them? How did the South African Constitution work? How is it working now? Where farmers are getting their land taken from them because of their skin color. How is that superior to our Constitution? Please tell me that.
No white folks, and they came up with a new constitution. It's one of the reasons why the South African Constitution is generally thought of as one of the best constitutions in the world.
By who?
Ours continues to be a piece of crap.
So what laws would you kick out immediately? What laws are you saying it needs to get the fuck out of here?
Yeah, so the first one I have in my book is that I want to eliminate every single voter registration law. All of them.
Wow. So they want anybody to just be able to vote. Anyone can just go and vote, no matter if you're a citizen or not. I mean, this is the ideology. This is the stuff that they're pushing. But the inflammatory anti-American remarks sparked controversy online, as the U.S. Constitution has been revered for over 200 years as one of the most important documents in human history, while South Africa's is riddled with problematic and controversial portions. South Africa's 1996 Constitution was created in a post-apartheid environment, resulting in several race-based ideas, such as essentially enabling affirmative action as part of the nation's basic principles and allowing the government to take property or land from white citizens in order to give it back to black citizens under the guise of just and equitable compensation. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I was talking about here. Regarding freedom of expression, the South African Constitution states that the advocacy of hatred based on race, ethnicity, gender, or religion that, quote, constitutes incitement to cause harm is illegal, which has led to citizens being convicted for racist speech. That's right. So you can go to jail for so-called racist speech. So apply that to what do you think will happen to people that believe that men should not be in women's sports? Would that be considered racist speech? Would you go to jail for that under this new constitution that this idiot is pushing? But the South African Constitution's Bill of Rights also includes the right to housing, healthcare, education, and Social Security, but millions of citizens still live in poverty and never fixed the problem. The nation has an insanely high crime rate, with much of the violence being directed towards white citizens and many becoming victims of the country's ongoing white genocide that they're not talking about. I mean, it's terrible for white people in South Africa. Elsewhere during the interview, Mystal claimed voter fraud in America is non-existent and alleged he may be, quote, snatched up off the street for his articles. First off, why are people in jail for voter fraud right now? People are, I mean, how many people, how many stories, how many articles, how many people you know that's gone to jail for voter fraud? Tons of people has gone to jail for voter fraud. So what is he talking about here? Let's play this idiotic clip here.
I want to eliminate every single voter registration law. All of them. All of them in every state are bad, right? That's different from voter eligibility. If you're eligible to vote, you should just be able to rock up to the polls and vote. So we could just get rid of all of them. We could just get rid of all of them. And the people will say like, oh, well, we can't do that because of voter fraud, right? Well, first of all, and I know this is going to be hard for some listeners who spend a lot of time listening to Republican lies, but voter fraud does not exist.
I loved how you broke that down in the book. Expound, please.
Right?
Yeah.
Voter fraud just doesn't exist. It's not a real thing. We shouldn't make laws based on protecting us from things that don't exist, right? Republicans keep saying...
So if that's the case, how come people are in prison right now for voter fraud? It's not making any sense. How many people that's going to getting felonies and stuff for voting twice? That's voter fraud. Voting under someone else's name, that's voter fraud. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? It doesn't exist. Oh my gosh.
We need voter ID. The voter ID is the thing that secures our election, that protects us from voter fraud. And I call their bluff. I'm like, all right, you want voter ID? Fine. Let's make a deal. Remember how this country used to actually make deals in order to move forward? Let's make a deal. I'll give you your voter ID. It's got to be national. It's got to be free, because if it's not free, it violates the 24th Amendment's prohibition on poll taxes. But you give me a free national, I'll give you a free national voter ID, and you give me automatic registration of every eligible voter that is also portable between either in the states or between the states. Portable means if I move, I don't have to re-register. My registration follows me. I don't have to follow my registration. You give me that deal, I will give you your ID card. Who says no? And I promise you, the people who say no are the Republicans, are the ones who claim that voter ID is necessary to secure our election, because their goal is not to secure elections, because again, voter fraud doesn't exist. Their goal is to restrict people from voting.
This dude is so ridiculous. It's to restrict illegal people from voting. That's why we want voter ID. That's why we need voter registrations, because people die and things like that. So we have to be able to register to make sure that dead people aren't voting, which we know happened before. It's happened before. Dead people have voted. So what is he talking about? That's why we need voter registration, so we can make sure that you're still alive, you're in the right jurisdiction. I mean, how else are we going to check these things? I mean, this dude is nuts. One more clip here. Let's watch one more clip.
Look, guys, we live in a country where you can get snatched up off the street for writing an article in the newspaper.
Okay, if that's the case, where have that happened at? Who have been snatched up off the street for writing an article? I'm gonna wait. Let me think. Let's ask AI really quick. Let's ask AI. Because I could be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's see. Let's ask AI. Has anyone ever been snatched off of the streets in the United States for writing an article? Let's see what it says. There haven't been widely reported cases of someone being abducted off the street in the U.S. specifically for writing an article. However, there has been instances where journalists, activists, and other writers have faced intimidation, legal action, or even physical threats due to their work. But that has nothing to do with government, though. Like, I mean, yes, some people have been threatened, but no one from government came and picked you up off the street because you're talking about government censorship, or you don't like tariffs or whatever. Like, where has that happened? Oh my gosh. Oh, this is crazy. You can't just be going making things up, especially with the internet age, and we got AI and we can Google and all these other things. You can't just go around making stuff up. So if anyone believes anything that he's saying without their due diligence, that's on them. That tells me you're about as dumb as this guy is. But let me play the rest of this. Here we go.
As a person who writes articles in newspapers, this is something that has really worried me and really changed and affected how I think about my job and my life. And we can say, well, it only happened to green card holders. Yeah, now, so far, how long before it happens to me? I'm an American, so I was born in Queens, right? But how long?
Really?
What part of Queens?
Flushing. I was close enough to Shea that you could hear the stadium. Like,
what high school did you go to? I'm just curious.
Well, then I moved to Long Island, and I went to Friends Academy, which is like a private Quaker school.
Oh, yeah, of course he went to a private school. First he saw... Baby, you see how he said he was from Queens, and then all of a sudden he switched it. Oh, when he asked him what high school you went to, he switched it up. Oh. Then I moved and I went to a nice prestigious private school. This dude was never near the hood. He don't know nothing. Oh my God! But he's feigning. He feigned like he's this hip dude with the fro and he keeps picking his hair in his head and all this stuff. Oh my God, man! It makes a lot of sense now. It makes a lot of sense. He grew up around a lot of white liberals. This is why he thinks like he thinks. This makes a lot of sense now. Makes a lot of sense.
England Cove. Kind of as my parents made more money, we moved further and further.
That's how it works.
See,
out on the island. Right. So as I think about my career, when I'm doing book events now, I have security.
Yeah.
Right. Which is not something I did for my first book.
Nobody cares, bro. What you need security for? We want you to spew this ridiculous stuff. Because the more you talk, the more people will listen and find out how dumb the leftists really are, how they really don't have our best interests at heart. So nobody cares about you going around your book tour, bro. This dude is funny,
right? When I write, I think about like how when I write about Musk, especially because he's the one with so much power. I write very truthfully about him, but carefully. I use all of my legal skills when I'm writing about Musk to be very careful about what I'm saying, because I know that he will sue people and he will go after people.
Is there anything that you?
I mean, this guy is ridiculous, man. Musk don't care about what you say, man. This dude is delusional. See, but y'all let me know what y'all think about all this nonsense that he was spewing. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.